All right. Thank you guys for joining us again. We have another fantastic podcast for you guys today. I have the pleasure of being joined by Dmitry McAltrick, who is the one of the partners in Atom Group. Dmitry, thanks for being here.
Oh, my pleasure. Thanks for inviting, Jake, and it's always nice to see you again.
Yeah, you too, dude. So I'll kind of give a background on how we met, and then maybe that kind of sets the stage for your background and the companies that you guys have underneath Atom Group. So
Thanks.
we had a client reach out, and they made a bunch of money in an ecosystem. They made an early investment in that ecosystem, and they were like, we made all this money in crypto. Now what do we do with it, right? So we've had back and forth for about a year now, and then you guys came down to the office, and one of the subsidiaries that you guys manage was how they came into that money through the crypto investment that they made. So for you to talk about Athleta, the journey there, what you guys are doing with the 35 subsidiaries that you have underneath Atom Group, and maybe give a little bit of your background and how you ended up in this position.
I've started in semiconductor industry, and my family set up a factory that was producing robotic equipment for the I would say Big 10 of the chip manufacturers.
Oh wow!
I've started as high as it gets in tech, I would say. Years later, I ended up on my way to San Diego to become a consultant to one of these. It begins with I and has something to do with Intel. So it's literally that company I was supposed to be a consultant to, but I just happened to travel on the day when 9/11 happened.
Oh my gosh!
I never made it to US because of that.
Yeah.
And so 20 years later, that's when I actually. I made it to US a bit later, say 10, 15 years later. But 20 years later now, we're building this amazing company, which is Atom Group. And underneath, we have 35 live projects and probably another pipeline of around 70 that are still yet to show whether they're strong enough to be let into the market. So it is a very large group, and Atom Group is the biggest, I would say, in Eastern Europe company that is primarily focused on artificial intelligence and products built on top of it. So this is how we started. And the way we arrived to Athleta being the Athleta network, the layer 1 blockchain, is we always wanted to launch a social project for the young grassroots in different sports. Incidentally, we chose soccer, the football, as our first kind of trial of our capabilities. We had too many friends who were incidentally also partners who are actually ex-footballers. And so they said, why don't we try from something we understand well, and then we'll add other kinds of sport, once we prove ourselves that we can build something there. So it all started as a tokenization project for the grassroots, so that we could give an opportunity, a social lift to all these young and up-and-coming players by being sponsored almost through, I believe in nowadays US basketball in college league, it is called NIL. So it's literally a representation of oneself before somebody becomes famous. And we would tokenize the athlete, provide a digital ID on our own platform. We created the blockchain itself to be a multi-layer technology that would save the data, the progress of training, and present it in a similar way as the shares show their own performance, like stock shows its own performance on the stock exchange, for example. So people make an educated kind of guess as to who to support.
Mm-hmm.
For example, we have this one little guy from the village who is up and coming. Indeed, he's training well, he's progressing well, his games and competitions are doing well. So why not, support as a local community to begin with? And if he progresses to like city level and county level and higher, or a state level, then it only makes sense for the circle that supports him to widen, and so he's already winning because he has enough traction, enough support to make it into big professional sports before the money comes in. And then once the money comes in, he distributes that first professional contract back to those who are token holders. That proportion he's giving back, and so it's like I don't know, it's a social project. It started like that. And so in order to prove the market fit, we acquired and built 3 football academies in Brazil. We ran a huge, enormous competition that involved more than 500 football pitches. So imagine how many kids went through it just to select the 560, I believe, or around so, of the best players that we then ourselves sponsored fully to train and to basically progress through the grid. And it was a very tough kind of a boot camp almost style training, because we paid the wages, so we obviously had demands. It wasn't the other way around. Like, the common way is that the kids have to pay their coaches to be trained. No, we paid their salaries. We paid their parents so they can support them and travel with them to all the international or cross-border games. Yes. And we took them around the world through our friends in different various clubs. We placed them to either play against or play for. And that, I didn't know that at the time, but that increases the value as well of every player that plays. So it's the experience that counts. Basically, having played with these guys, those guys, famous clubs or against a famous club.
Perception, right?
Yeah. Yeah. And so we've proven that it works. It has legs. We found a legal way of building the structure so that it's all working internationally. And by the time we've done so, we've already accomplished building the Atleta network. And so the Atla coin became our utility token that is used for that part. But whilst going through that journey, we kind of grew up ourselves, like in our minds.
Yep.
We grew up ourselves, and we set up many, many other things, other parts within the what we call blockchain sport ecosystem. And we added the marketing unit inside the blockchain sport. We've added, we understood how we can promote ourselves through professional athletes, how we can get them involved once they retire from professional sports.
Oh, cool.
We
platform too. So we pull the full life cycle, like all the way from junior into their professional career, and then supporting them on the other side of that. A lot of people come, they end up a interviewer, or they're on CNN or ESPN or one of those, but you guys have positions in this organization or ecosystem for them to be able to help train younger kids, and it's full life cycle. That's cool.
So yeah, they get involved once. You know how it is so nice to give back to the community that supported you all throughout your life. I like it, and I do a lot of pro bono work for so many different startups, and I teach kids how to build businesses. And so the same kind of model went into our blockchain sport ecosystem. So we gave an opportunity not only to train kids, but also make some money on top of that, because the promotion itself, it all became a viable thing. Then we built what we call Blockchain Sport Arena, which is the up-and-coming social media network that also connects the professional clubs to the rest of the world. So we now have a 3-tier kind of involvement: grassroots, professional clubs, and the retirees, those who can continue in sports and provide value to the young ones, to professional clubs, and have a bit of their own business, I would say, beyond that, but still related to sports, which is very nice, something that they know well, and they can exercise and work their connections that they've built up throughout their career, having traveled the world and played for different clubs and whatnot. So that's what blockchain sport ecosystem has become. And now we're expanding into other kind of sports. So we're now looking at basketball. We're now looking at football, and we're looking at baseball. So all the popular kind of sports in the US. As we're entering with Atom Group, we're entering the US market heavily. I believe we already built 14 companies in US, and so now we're doing this fundraising round where we're looking to build up some capital so we can finance ourselves locally and essentially have a fully localized business.
Yeah, do the same thing over there, over here, with the soccer clubs and the professional sports, and then the follow on. That, I think that's incredible. And like